Yeah, Assalamualaikum, a very good day. We are biomedical engineer from Unicare ABMI would like to present the PPM checklist of ESU, which is Electrosurgical Unit. My name is Muhammad Amirul Izzat bin Rahmat.
And my name is Muhammad Amirul Izzat bin Kamal.
And my name is Muhammad Akram bin Rosli.
And my name is Muhammad Aiman Hazim bin Muhammad Nisa.
Mine is Nofakria Nazira binti Ramli.
And my name is Anis Amira binti Izzat.
Okay, for the device that we want to present today is basically Electrosurgical Unit. The model is Force FX and the brand is Wiley Lab, which is the manufacturer. So before that, we would like to start the part 1, which is Aiman will explain regarding the asset details and special precaution.
Thank you, Amirul. So my name is Muhammad Aiman Hazim once again, and I will explain about the part 1 and part 2, which is asset details and special precaution. So first, here we have to insert the asset number, which is a special code that is given by the manufacturer for specific devices, which means each devices have their own specific codes, specific asset number. And then, as Amirul said, this model is Force FX8C, and the manufacturer is Wiley Lab. The PPM frequency is 12, which is monthly. We do the PPM frequency once per year. And lastly, the location is usually at OT, which is operating theatre. Enough for part 1, then moving on to part 2, special precautions. First, if there is evidence of body fluid contamination, submit the device for cleaning and we have to decontamination before we inspecting it. Then, wear appropriate personal protection equipment (PPE) during the PPM work. Then, wear grounded electrostatic wristband when handling PCB or electronic components. This is to ensure any leaking currents will be grounded and to ensure the safety. Next, refer to the safety procedure for additional precautions and guidance as per manufacturer guidelines. And lastly, make sure the test equipment used are duly calibrated. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Nofakria and I will explain about task 2 and task 3. So, part 3 and part 4, sorry. Okay, so about qualitative tasks. Okay. Okay, so for test equipment that we are needed for this PPM is are electrical safety analyzer and electrosurgical analyzer. So for the asset number, you can get the asset number and calibration date you can get from the sticker behind the ESU or up the ESUs. Okay, next is part 4, qualitative tasks. Okay, so first, okay, for this task 1 until 14 is we have to check first and then decide whether the device is pass, fail, or NA, not available. Okay, so first the cases. The cassette is an external ESU. You have to check whether it's damaged or broken. So you have to tick whether it's pass or fail. So for the mount or fastener, the place that you have to put the ESU onto, make sure you have to shake it. Make sure the mount is strong enough to support the ESU. Okay, for the caster brake, okay, you have this require you to shake the mount to check whether the brake is properly working or not. Okay, so for the AC plug and the power cord, you have to check. You have to plug in the the AC plug, and then check whether the ESU is power on, off, or off. So if it's off, you have to replace the AC plug or check replace it. Just replace it. So for strain relief, this is one example for the strain relief. You have to check whether it's broken or in a good condition, and then you take it. And then for the cables and the fitting connectors, you have to check the insulation. First, the insulation of the cable, whether it's broken or not, and then you have to check the condition whether it's good to use or not. Then if it's not, you have to take as fail. And for the control and switches, you have to that's a keypad on the ESU. You have to press it whether it's working, and it show the right accurate the thing that you have pressed. Like if you press the mono, then it show the monos and its range. And then for the indicator or display, the LCD for the ESU, it display the true number, the true value or not. So for audible signal, it is for example, it is alarm. If it sounds good and louder, and it's take as pass because it's can use and it is working. So for the accessory, usually it is foot switch. You can you can check it, try to press it whether it's working, or if not, if the ESU is not came together with the foot switch, just take it as not available, NA. So for the REM test, pressure electrode, so you have to check the indicator. If it's green, that means you apply it properly, and if it shows red, that means there's something wrong with your application while you applying the pressure electrode. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay. All right. For the part 5, this is about preventive maintenance tasks. What kind of tasks that we have, which is we need to clean the cleanliness, which is we need to clean the equipment, which is in the column we have the 3 available, which is done, not done, also not available. So what's kind of the cleanliness of the equipment? For example, prior to sterilize, inspect patient leads and fluoridating and coagulating tip for integrity and cleanliness and bit of tissue or carbon that would interference with the proper function, or we need to clean all the electrical contact. For the part 6 is quantitative tasks. For the quantitative tasks, we have the 2, which is monopolar output test, also bipolar output test. What is monopolar output test? Monopolar mode is electrical current is delivered to the patient via an active cable and electrode, which is current returned to the unit through a return electrode pad or plate to split and return the current, thus to preventing focus heat, which can cause burn. So for the function, we have a 2, which is cut and coagulating. In the cut, we have a low, pure, and also the blend, which is we put the load 300 ohm and we set at 80 watt, and we will measure the range is about 479 until 553. So for the coagulating, which is desiccate, fulgurate, and also the spray, the load is 500 ohm, and we set a value at 80 watt, and we measure the value, which is the range is 372 until 428. All these the rated value based on the service manual for this device. All right, thank you. That's all.
Okay, so I will continue the presentation. So for quantitative tasks, so basically, as you know, we have 2 monopolar and bipolar So I will explain more about a bipolar output test. So what is the bipolar output test? So bipolar output test is the current flows from one time to the other through the tissue held between the forceps. So as the bipolar use lower voltage, so less energy is required, but because it has a limited ability to cut and coagulate the large bleeding areas, it is more ideally used for those procedure where tissue can be easily grabbed on both sides by the forceps. Right. So for the function for bipolar output test, we have three, which is precise, standard, and macro. So we put the load is 100 ohm for that one, and we set the value is the set value is a 10 watt, and for the precise we put the 10 watt, and the limit for that one is 299 until 333. So and then for the next one is standard function is we put the load at 100 ohm, and the set value for that one is also 10 watt, and the range for this one is 299 until 333. And one for the function for bipolar output test is the macro, and we put the load is 100 ohm, for the unit is milliampere, and we set the value is 10 watt, and the range for that one is also 299 until 333. So that's all for quantitative tasks for the bipolar output test.
Okay, I will explain about electrical safety test and the noise and mitigation part. Okay, on this part, electrical safety test is help to prevent the hazard, and EST is important because to ensure the patient and the staff is safe while using the equipment. Okay, for the safety analyzer, we use the flux model. On the attachment part, the result will of the test will be attached on that part. Okay, for the part 8, not any recommendation, the engineer will be notched down if the equipment have any damage or faulty. For example, battery. If battery on the equipment is damaged, the engineer will notch down that battery will be replaced or changed. That's all for me.
Okay, for this part is conclusion, where we conclude everything regarding this PPM maintenance. Okay, at this part also we will determine whether the device is functioning or not functioning, or we want to determine whether the device need to be corrective or not, which means this device need to be repaired or not. And also at this part where the device will be mentioned regarding the next PPM service, as will be mentioned by the engineer that produced this EST test. And then also the one need to be mentioned is the date and the time, and also the name of the engineer that doing this EST test, and also the stamp of the company or the one that represent to do this maintenance task. And then after that, the one that verify this job is that by the department of the task itself, which is for ESU usually at operation theatre OT, so that it need to be verified by the head of department of the OT itself, or the one that will be stay at the counter, the staff, so that they need to verify, jot down the date and the department of the part itself, and also the signature of the company or the hospital itself. So therefore, after doing part 1 until part 9, we can conclude that this device is safe to be used by the user or the patient itself. So therefore, it concludes our presentation regarding the PPM checklist of the electrosurgical unit. Thank you, everyone.